Hey guys, I'm Rich from NeoWin, and today we're unboxing the Huawei MateBook X Pro. So this was a device that was announced at Mobile World Congress. It's the second generation MateBook X Pro. So a little bit of background on Huawei's Windows 10 lineup. So they got into Windows 10 PCs in June 2016. It was the original MateBook, and it was a tablet. It was alright. It had a Core M3 processor. Nothing too exciting. So this got refreshed, and they introduced three MateBooks, which is the MateBook X, D, and E. The E was the successor to the original MateBook with that tablet form factor, folio keyboard, and so on. The X is the premium clamshell laptop. Super thin, super light, Dolby. It was the first 13-inch laptop to have Dolby Atmos. No touch. I don't think it had USB Type A. That, like the MateBook E, has not been refreshed since. And then there was the MateBook D that was kind of a mid-range. So later on, they introduced the MateBook X Pro. It was a little bigger than the MateBook X, a little thicker. It included touch, USB Type A, larger display, dedicated graphics with an NVIDIA MX 150. And so now, they've refreshed the MateBook X Pro at Mobile World Congress alongside of the MateBook 14. So again, Huawei's MateBook lineup is getting super confusing because they're all clamshells. They have the mid-range D, except for the MateBook E, which who knows what's going on with that. So they have the mid-range MateBook D, the Premium X, now an even more Premium X Pro, and then they have just the regular MateBook series. They introduced the MateBook 13, I believe at CES, and then now at MateBook 14 at Mobile World Congress. So that's kind of, if you separate high-end and premium, that's high-end. All right, so this is the top-end device, though. This is the MateBook X Pro. It's got a 13.9-inch display, 91% screen-to-body ratio. You know, super narrow bezels. Like the original MateBook X Pro, it has 8th generation U-series processors, but it's Whiskey Lake now instead of Kaby Lake R. So obviously, those original 8th gen processors is pretty much the same thing as the 7th gen, except 4 cores instead of 2. So now this is like a real 8th gen processor. And then the GPU is also upgraded from the MX 150 to the MX 250. Nothing, you know, the internals are jacked up a little bit, but nothing major in terms of specs improvements. There are some cool new features, though. As you probably noticed, I do have a Mate 20 Pro sitting in front of me, and there is a reason for that. So there's some cool features with this device, like call it One Hop, where you can be looking at a picture on your phone, and you just tap the PC, and it just goes to your PC. There's a 3-finger screenshot feature, which is a little weird. We'll get to that. So let's get this open. The configurations are kind of unknown. This one has a Core i7-8565U, which is the Whiskey Lake Core i7. And then it also has 16 gigs of RAM and a terabyte of storage, which is quite impressive. And then it has that NVIDIA MX 250. So, like I said, though, the configurations aren't known. Historically, Huawei does 2 configurations, an i5 model and an i7 model. Last time they did the i7, the i5 had 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage and no dedicated graphics. And then you had the i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigs of storage, and then it had the MX 150. US configurations aren't going to be announced until May. So all we've got is just the device right now, and specific configurations are going to come later. So let's see what else is in the box. Probably have a Huawei USB Type-C charger, maybe a Mate dock as well. Okay, so we have a USB Type-C to Type-C cable, which is nice. You know, a lot of companies do Type A to Type-C, and I don't quite get it. Or they have you know, PCs tend to have a big power brick, which I don't like. Okay, so we can look over here. That's where we're going to find our power brick. But what I mean when I say a power brick is that you get a regular cable that goes into the wall, and then there's a brick. So it's just the one piece goes into the wall, and then you have the cable that plugs into your PC. I do like Huawei's chargers. I think it's a good product. So that's all that's in the box. There's no pen because there's no pen support, which shouldn't be surprising. It's a clamshell. Like I said, Huawei's lineup of clamshells is getting to be a bit much. I wish they would make a convertible or not just a tablet, because I do. They make great laptops. It's just that there's, you know, like Steve Jobs famously said when he came back to Apple, which one do I tell my friends to buy? I don't know which MateBook to tell my friends to buy anymore. I mean, obviously the X Pro is the top of the line one, although I personally like the regular X a little better. Although also, I reviewed the MateBook 13, that was a phenomenal laptop. If they didn't have the MateBook X also, I would say that's a premium device. Because it does. It also has the Whiskey Lake processor and all of that good stuff. So let's take a closer look now at the MateBook X Pro. Okay, so here we have it. 1.2 millimeter keyboard. You see the camera is popping up. I'm not sure if it's meant to do that out of the box, although it would make a lot of sense because it would actually just show people where the camera is. And I don't love the feature. It's meant to be a privacy camera, so when it's down like that, no one can hack your camera. You don't have to put a piece of tape over the camera. And then when it's up, you can use it. But the problem is that when you're using it, it's really just taking a picture of like your chin. It's cameras cameras really should go at the top of the display, and it tends to be a problem when they're not. So it's an innovative solution for a privacy guard, which privacy guards have been incredibly popular over the last couple of years because you have things like you have different ideas. HP's is probably the best. They just put a switch on the side of the PC, and then it actually disconnects the camera inside of the device. So there's no issue with it with a physical guard on the device, which can be problematic. So while we're setting this up, I also want to point out the fingerprint sensor, which I'm just going to set up right now. Huawei has really good fingerprint sensors, like the best. It's not as impressive these days because fingerprint sensors are just everywhere, and they have gotten so good across the board. But they always used to be the best, and so on PCs it's still worth noting. And what's really cool about Huawei's fingerprint sensors is that it'll actually scan your fingerprint. It'll scan your fingerprint when you turn on the device. So let's just skip through all this stuff. And you won't have to scan your fingerprint again when you after it boots up. So it just, you press the power button to turn it on, and then it just logs you in once it's booted up. Okay, so now this is all set up. All right, there's stuff going on here that's being installed from the store. We're going to shut off notifications, obviously, at some point. So it's synced to Lenovo background for some reason. This is clearly not what was meant to come on this PC. We'll fix that later on. So, yeah, fingerprint sensor is awesome. You can see there's speakers to the sides of the keyboard, and that's going to be great. That's Dolby Atmos sound, and it's going to sound awesome. That's why it's great for watching movies on this PC, and I really wish that they would do a convertible with this kind of audio and display quality. And the display is 3000 by 2000, and yeah, so you can see very narrow bezels. Even the top bezel is even the bottom bezel, there's no chin here. So big screen to body ratio, and yeah, so 1.2 millimeter keyboard, large trackpad, very large trackpad. Okay, so I mean, it's a great machine. Everybody that I know that's used the MateBook X Pro has loved it. So we're going to try out this the one hop feature. Okay, so I've got this nice picture from Europe. All right, and I don't want related information. We're going to try to do Huawei Share here. So I just tapped it, the phone vibrated, and now we've got MateBook X Pro found. All right, so we're going to say connect, and we're connecting. We just heard it connect to the PC, and we just got a little privacy notice here. So it says now it's connected. So my photos should.
Huawei Share One Hub
Let's watch this little video.
Just touch your phone against your laptop to transfer images. Hold down the notification panel to turn on NFC. Tap the NFC detection area of the phone against Huawei Share icon.
The Mate 20 is an on
your phone and your laptop.
Pro. So, I mean, you get the point. We're not going to go through this whole thing.
Open an image or select the multiple images in gallery. Tap the NFC detection area of the phone against the Huawei Share icon. Images will be transferred to your laptop quickly. You can also transfer videos this way.
So you can transfer videos. You should be able to transfer stuff from
Exit
the
gallery
PC.
in your phone. Tap the NFC detection area on the phone against Huawei share icon. Images will be transferred to your phone quickly.
Right, so you can transfer back to your phone as well.
Test extraction from images with a single touch and click. Transfer an image from your phone to your laptop with a single tap. Click the recognized text.
Alright, so we get the point. So yeah, you can see I just transferred this image. We could just do another one. I got this image right here. It's a little different. And I can just tap it. It's going to go right over. Okay, what we can also do, right, we can also pick a bunch of image, and we're just going to pick all these. And now I see I have a bunch selected, and it should send them all over. Yeah, so see, they're all populating right there, and they all transferred. Okay, so it's a really nice feature. What I usually do for transferring files is I upload them all to OneDrive, and well, set up OneDrive. There we go. So there's also a 3-finger screenshot. So you notice it just made that little clicking noise. Okay, and selection, custom. You can draw windows. So we're just gonna say don't show this again. So what I can do is I can just go like that, and now it just picked that little part of that Lenovo, and then we could do little inception here, you know. But yeah, so 3-finger screenshot. I'm not sure how useful that's actually going to be, because obviously we have snipping tool, and I've been using this to take my screenshots for a long time now, and I mean it's in there. You know, we have. Oh, there's the... Wait a minute. We just synced the actual background that I used. This couldn't have possibly actually shipped with a Lenovo wallpaper, right? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So, what is this picture folder right here? Is that coming from just a bunch of wallpapers? All right, anyway. Yeah, so we have Win Print Screen also for taking screenshots. That works too. So, I love the Huawei share stuff. I'm not sure how useful this is going to be, but it's there. Okay, so Huawei makes a good laptop, a great laptop. I've used many of them. I mean, I wasn't a fan of the tablet ones, which was the original MateBook and the MateBook E. I'm really not a fan of Windows tablets. That's just me. But I reviewed the MateBook X, the original MateBook X Pro, of the 14-inch MateBook D, and which had AMD Ryzen, and now this. And I know it's going to be great because I've used enough of these things to know. It's got the internals. Huawei makes a good product. I love the sharing stuff because really, sharing photos from your phone to your PC isn't always easy. The easiest way is probably either to do it with a wire or upload to something like OneDrive, and then have it just sync to your PC. So now you just tap and it's there. The biggest problem with that is that it only works with Huawei phones. And if you're in the US, you're probably not going to be able to really make use of that feature because you probably don't have a Huawei phone. These things aren't sold from US carriers. You kind of have to, you can buy one from Amazon or something, but you know, that to me is one of the biggest value propositions of this PC. There are lots of PCs out there with Whiskey Lake processors and an NVIDIA MX250. So to me, that's a key selling point. So if you won't be able to use it, that's kind of a bummer because it is a pretty cool feature, and I think it's going to be useful in the long run. The 3-finger screenshot feature, I don't know. They told me it was because a lot of people don't know how to take screenshots on Windows. To me, if you ask me, that could have been solved by simply putting a tutorial in there. Maybe if someone's trying to take if you could tell someone's trying to take a screenshot, say, hey, try Win Print Screen, or hey, try Snipping Tool, or swipe 3 fingers on the screen and we'll open Snipping Tool. It seems kind of like reinventing the wheel. It doesn't need to be done. I mean, the truth is that even for the 3-finger screenshot feature, discoverability is still an issue, right? So they still have to put something in there that tells you, hey, you can take a screenshot by swiping 3 fingers on the screen. So that, however they do that, could really be solved just by pointing them to snipping tool instead. I don't know. But hey, it's going to be a great machine. I don't have configurations. I don't have pricing. That's all going to come in May. So, you know, stay tuned for that. If we'll have a review, obviously, well before then, sometime in April. So that's it. I'm Rich from NeoWin. Have a great night.